This year, the Wilson Premier Classic went from the West Coast to the East Coast, with the event taking place at Lake Point Sports. And it was BPA, the Canes, and Top Tier Ruse that left with the hardware. Here to break it all down, Cory McCartney, along with PBR Georgia Scouting Director Phil Kerber. Phil, it's good to have you back, and I hope your scout's eye was locked in throughout this tournament.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It's been a couple of weeks, and this event was incredible. I mean, there wasn't a game where there wasn't top talent and just big moments happening. It was a lot of fun to be back out there after a short break we had, but it was good.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, there were Division I commits everywhere in this event, but certainly some big-time names. Who were those players that really had you having your focus on?
Yeah, I was mostly stationed on the underclassmen, 22s and 23s, but I did float over to some of the bigger 21 games. I couldn't help myself with some of the names that were playing. So start out with 2021s. Catcher Harry Ford, we've seen him a whole bunch over the past year. He was a member of the 2019 Future Games with Team Georgia, the inaugural team, Georgia Tech commit, one of the top defensive catchers in the country. But the one thing that has really floated him up to the top of draft boards is how his bat has come along. I mean, the very first day, he hit one of the hardest balls that I've seen at Lake Point, 109 mile per hour exit velocity out of the park, left field, banged it off the foul or the light pole, and it almost ricocheted and hit some maintenance guys working back behind there. But it's the way his bat's progressed is really, really impressive. I think looking on his Twitter, he hit another one the following day, which brings his total to 11 home runs since he started summer ball. So that's something that, there's questions whether the bat was going to come along, and it's come along in a hurry, which is just sending him shooting up draft boards. So it's going to be exciting to see what he does this spring and, of course, this fall, and then heading into the draft where he might ultimately end up. And then from Northeast Baseball, outfielder TJ White, kid out of South Carolina, Indiana commit. I mean, really good get for them going into South Carolina and getting a prospect like him. He was locked in all weekend. I think he had 4 home runs, maybe 5. And the one that I got to see, 105 exit velo, hit it just to the right of the batter's eye. I mean, seeing it in person, the way the ball came off the bat was really special. Just like in a blink of an eye, that thing is sailing over that fence. And the kid's switch hitter, physically advanced, really strong upper lower halves. And I think he's got, this performance at Wilson Premier was something that he did in front of a bunch of scouts, something that's going to really get some helium in him for this upcoming fall and heading into the spring. And then heading to the underclass portion of the event where I was mostly on, got to start out with the 2023 Aiden Miller out of Florida, really the catalyst for top-tier Ruse. Pitched them into the finals, the semifinals, going up against an Evo Shield Generals team that was absolutely stacked with talent. And that's a team that Wilson puts together, invite only. They had, I could spend all day talking about that team with how good they were, and Aiden Miller absolutely dominated. 6 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. Started the game 87-89, and by the 6th inning, he was pumping 90-92. You don't see that kind of feel out of a kid that young to be able to conserve energy and then come in the late innings and really dial it up. It was really cool to see. He also floating over a nice breaking ball that was throwing guys off. He knew when to use it. And then, not to mention that he's an advanced bat at the plate too, like just a power to all fields, still uncommitted, top prospect in Florida. I'm sure I definitely can pick wherever he wants to go to the next level. And honestly, he's probably not going to make it to the next level. In the 2023 draft, is probably going to be hearing his name called pretty high there. And then 2022 left-handed pitcher Tristan Smith with Canes National. This kid that we talked about earlier in the summer when Canes came, he was playing for the Canes American 2021 team and finally playing down with his age, left-handed pitcher, 90-94. I think in the newly released 22 rankings, we have him 4th overall in the country. And, it's for good reason. 90-94 with a nice breaking ball, kind of this 2.8 curveball that he throws in the mid-70s, throws it for strikes. Just premium velocity. You don't see that kind of velocity from any of those kids. Like, there's a couple that will be up there, but especially from the left side, that's got a lot of attention on him and still uncommitted. So another kid where it's like, yeah, just pick where you want to go and you'll end up there. And then finally from East Cobb Astros, 2024 Michael Mullenix. So playing up with the 2023s, hit leadoff position all weekend. This is my first time seeing him. And, you know, he's probably going to be, when we release our 2024 rankings, one of the top ranked guys in the state. And I assume that that's going to get you to be one of the top ranked players in the entire country if you're high up in Georgia. The switch hitter, just advanced at the plate. Swing works from both sides. And actually, which really opened my eyes, you know, I'm walking over to their first game and I don't know it's him up to bat, and I see him launch a ball probably over a row of cars in right field. And I'm like, wow, like, who is that kid? Go find out. He's a 2024. I'm like, you know, that's something special from a 2024 to be doing what he did at the plate. And, you know, it's just going to be exciting to watch him for the next couple of years. I'm really pumped about that.
Well, the entire Wilson Premier Classic is available on demand with Lake Point Live. You can head over to lakepointsports.com and get all the information you need there. And as a reminder, if you're not already, and I don't know why you wouldn't be, following Phil on Twitter at Phil Kerber PBR, you can also get the entire PBR Georgia experience by following them at PBR Georgia on Twitter. Phil, thank you so much for the time. Appreciate the insight.
Thanks for having me on, Cory.